Half Forgotten History is presented by State Farm. Getting great car or home insurance from State Farm at a surprisingly great rate? Well, that's just like talking to the biggest names in NFL history and hearing their untold stories. It's the real deal. So choose insurance that always brings its A game. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. See, I told you that we could get a good story out of Crabtree. Come on, baby.
That's gonna be your born. That's gonna be your born as part of the interview, Trey. I told you I ain't gonna talk about that shit.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo here. Welcome into another edition of Half Forgotten History. By this time, you know the drill. I sit down with a cocktail from our good friends at Maker's Mark and talk to some of the greatest players in the NFL about some of the greatest moments in the game. And we are delighted to be joined today by one of the guys who was one of my favorite players as I watched him play all those years, whether it was with the Bucs, the Patriots, the Broncos, or the Rams, and even a brief stint for the Miami Dolphins. First round, 20th overall by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of Kansas, cornerback Aqib Talib. Aqib, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Trey. Appreciate you having me on.
Man, it is a delight to talk to you again. I've always enjoyed our interactions. You came up one year at ESPN. We had a fun day at the studios that day. But I got to say, as a kid who was taken out of Kansas in the first round in 2008, did you ever think that guy would end up be calling NFL games on a regular basis for a network? Because I got to say, I did not see that coming.
I didn't, Trey. I didn't. It kind of just came about. You know, I always did like NFL Network and ESPN and stuff, man. I guess because, you know, I'm a social guy, you know what I'm saying? I always, my name comes up when those kind of things come up. But I never thought that I'd do an NFL game, man. Let me tell you how it came about. I started working with United Talent Agency, and then they just, you know, they kind of start asking questions. You know, saying, would you like to do it? I say yeah to everything. So yeah, I tried out. Next thing you know, it's the pandemic, and they was calling like, hey, you got to audition for Fox to do the commentary. So I did me and Kevin Burkhardt, we called the San Fran and the Saints game. We called the first half of that game over Zoom. Right. So I guess I did good enough to get on the real game. So that's how it came about.
Now I'm just curious because as a cornerback, obviously preparation is key, and you got to know your tendencies and all that kind of stuff. Did any of that translate into calling a game? How did that, or did it not happen at all?
Oh, definitely, man. It was exactly like getting ready for a real game, but instead of just watching Washington's offense or Detroit's offense, I had to watch Washington offense, Detroit offense, Washington defense. So it really was a lot more film watching than getting ready for a regular game because it was more information that I had to retain. You know what I'm saying? So definitely a lot of studying, man. I got the game about 10 days before I did it, and it was exactly like the same in number of hours that I put in as if I was going to play.
Well, listen, I listened to that game, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to your continued success on there.
Appreciate it.
You know, for people that aren't familiar with your story, I mean, there's been a lot in the Aqib Talib story in the NFL. You've gone through some stuff, you know, and how has all of that, you know, and it's been well documented, some of the issues that have happened. How did all that help you get to where you are right now?
Man, it's you, man. The stuff that you go through, that's what makes you. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why Mike Tyson is a ferocious boxer, because the stuff, that's how he grew up. It's the stuff that he went through in his life. You know what I'm saying? So it's part of you, man. I didn't plan it. It ain't like when I was 12, I said, all right, when I'm 18, I'm going to get a burglary charge. And when I'm, you don't plan this stuff, Trey. You just live, man. Yeah. You live and you learn. So, man, I think everything that I went through is, it just helps you. It helps you grow as a person. It helps you become who you are.
It's a story of perseverance because, as you said, there was the burglary charge, there's a gun charge, there's all this kind of stuff. How did that, like the background that you came from, because not everybody comes out of that background, and the locker room is a really unique place, right? Because you get people from all different places in society.
Definitely.
How difficult was that to acclimate to people that didn't understand where you came from and where the things in your neighborhood that sort of happened didn't happen in other people's neighborhoods?
It was not hard at all, man. The one thing I'm gonna be Aqib Talib no matter what. The good things God blessed me with, man, he made me a social person, man. You could put me in a room with anybody. people going to leave out that room like, he's a pretty good dude, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of my talents. That's just one of my skills that God blessed me with, Trey, that, man, I could communicate. I could hang out with anybody, and I could just vibe with anybody, man. So when I got around people who really didn't understand where I was from, I help them better understand, and I ask questions about where they from, and I make the situation cool.
For those that don't know, Aqib Talib, the name is interesting. Aqib means the last one in Arabic, and your last name, Talib, means student. So how much did you want to absorb all these things and all these different people that you've been around, and how did it change how you looked at things?
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy, Trey. I'm big on names. Like, I name my kids meanings of names. I feel like that shit matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's come to fruition. That's how I feel. And just so happened, my mom named me Stoughton. Our last name means Stoughton. And it just so happened that I love football, and man, I'm a real student of the game, man. I still learn. I still learn stuff to this day. I still always watch it. I watch all the games on Sundays. I'm a huge fan of it. And like you said, my first name means the last one. I'm the youngest child. I'm the baby. I got a big brother, 2 big sisters. I'm the baby. I actually named my son, my youngest son, his name is Jabari Aqib. So he's supposed to be the last one. We'll see.
You never know.
We'll never know.
So sometimes things come up that you're not expecting. Yeah, I will say your backdrop is one of the best we've ever had. For those not seeing it, he's got his Bucks jersey, he's got his Patriots jersey, he's got his Broncos jersey, and he's got his Ram jersey. So You spent your first 4+ seasons in Tampa Bay, but you really took off when you went to New England. And what I remember most about your time in New England was you had 2 injuries in 2 AFC Championship games that really changed the dynamic of those games. For people that don't understand, when the Patriots were hosting the Ravens in the AFC Championship game with the right to go to Super Bowl 47, and you got hurt. And once you got hurt, the entire defense changed for New England. And Joe Flacco, who was not having much success at all in that game, suddenly found a way to carve up that defense.
Man, I remember that game like it was yesterday, Trey. I remember that whole week. So I could feel this little tightness in my hamstring all the way up, like right below my butt. I could feel it. So I'm like, man, I'm going to try not to practice too hard. Hopefully it can go away. It was just in there. I kind of knew. I didn't know it was going to go, but I'm thinking like it's high up. Usually higher hamstrings, you could fight through them, right? So we had a great game plan that week, man. I was following Anquan Bolden. It was one of the Bill Belichick specials, man. We was doing stuff like, I'm in man-to-man on Anquan Bolden no matter what. So if he go in the slot and Coach Bill call, Coach Matty P call cover 2, all right, I had to know, like, all right, I'm in a spot that's usually, hook the curl, but I'm playing man-to-man, so I know I got help right here to the flat. I had help deep, but I just got to stay tight on Anquan Bolden. So, man, we had some stuff that I never did before, man. I loved the game plan. We played the first quarter. It was working to perfection, right? And then one time they threw him a little fade. It was easily covered, man. I was in front of him. I had a better chance at the ball than him. And I kind of stretched out to go get that interception, and boom, I felt my hamstring, man. So I remember that game like it was yesterday, man. And then the same thing the following year, I had the task of guarding Demaryius Thomas left to right.
Right.
And I think that started off pretty good. And then once I got hurt, Demaryius Thomas went crazy that game. And then the year before, Anquan Bolden ended up going crazy that game, man. But just unfortunate situations. But, it landed me in Denver and then landed me with Peyton, the Super Bowl. So, man, like I say, everything happened for a reason. Like you said, it was my coming out party was New England. Now, I think my coming out party should have been Tampa. I mean, I left Tampa. Think about this, Trey, not to get off subject real quick, but
No.
I left Tampa with 16 interceptions, 4 years, 16 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. Like, you do that anyway. If I go to New England and my first year I get 4 picks, next year I get 5 picks, next year I get 6 picks, the next year I get 2 picks and 2 touchdowns. Like, you're going to be all pro, and you're going to be a big deal if you do that in New York, or if you do that for the Patriots, or, the Ravens. If you do that for one of them teams, it just so happened I did it for the Bucks. We was blacked out locally. We couldn't even get on local TV, right? Like, I still used to be able to go back to my neighborhood and people didn't even know I was in NFL. That's how low key the Bucs was. I'm like, damn, I prayed all these years, Trey. I prayed to go to the NFL. Now I'm here, and I can go back home, and motherfuckers don't even know I'm in the NFL, right? I went first round, Trey.
How much did that change when you went to New England and you're with Belichick, who, by the way, defensive genius? I mean, how quickly did you realize it's different here? It's different here.
Immediately, man. From the locker room, the media used to be 20 people in there for the Bucs, 40 people in there for the Patriots. Like, just everything, man. I tell the story all the time. I go to Dunkin' Donuts. And I go in and God like, oh shit, it's Aqib Talib, man. What can I get you, man? So, I'm just playing around. It's just me and my wife, maybe my kids at home. I'm like, man, I got a bunch of people in town from the game, man. I was coming to order like 30 sandwiches. You gonna do that? He said, hell yeah, man, let's get them up. Gave me 30 sandwiches for free out of Dunkin' Donuts. It was just little stuff like that, man. It was like, I go home and they was like, hey, bro, we seen you on TV. I got TV games. And the first game I played in was one of the 4:30 games, the game of the week. You know what I'm saying? So, on TV every week, man, it was like my introduction to the real NFL, honestly.
All right, so you're in a unique position in NFL history here because you played with Tom Brady, who many consider the GOAT. Then you go to Denver and you play with Peyton Manning, who retired with a lot of the records that have since been broken. From your perspective, going up against them in practice and dealing with them, what are the similarities between Peyton and Tom, and what are the big differences?
I say the similarities is definitely the leadership, man. The accountability. Those guys think they play football like we're gonna live and die on my performance. You know what I'm saying? Which really is the truth. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
They play football like that, man. They prepare like that. They really like coaches, man. You can really mistake those guys. Like if my son came up there, he's 7 years old, and he just hung out for a while. He would probably mistake one of those guys for one of the coaches on how they handle themselves, how they, how they just prepare, how you see us hanging out in the locker room. You barely see Tom hanging out in the locker room or Peyton. Like they don't really hang, they in meeting rooms, they studying, you almost mistake those guys for a coach, man. And that's what I think they real similar. It's like everything is football to them. It's like their whole life is football, you know what I'm saying, for those guys, or was football for Peyton. But I say the difference is Tommy a little more to himself. You know what I'm saying? He vibe in the locker room and stuff. Maybe if you go to Mr. Kraft house or those kind of events, maybe you'll hang out with Tom outside of, football, outside of the locker room. But Peyton is more, you'll get a random text, bing, hey, we got a date at the casino tonight. If don't tell nobody else about this text. If you got it, you invited, not everybody else. Or then you'll get there. It'll be the whole starting defense, whole starting offense, and pay and put something together. It's like he more social. He more like, team. I don't want to say Tom is not like a team guy. You know what I'm saying? Tom a perfect teammate, a great teammate. But as far as like off the field, hanging out and stuff, that's Peyton. That's where Peyton come in. So I say that's the biggest difference between them two guys.
Tom was more of a standoff guy, and Peyton was more of a man of the people. Is that what
I don't even want it to come off like as like standoff. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's his personality. Yeah, and that's social and jokey. Like Peyton is just going to joke all day, man. People who never met him, man, he's probably the most witty guy ever met. You say something, he always has something to come back with immediately, man. So he's just more, more a social guy, more, you know what I'm saying? Want to be around the crowd a little bit more.
He was more like Aqib Talib, is what we're saying. Because you're a social guy, which we've established here, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so we've gone through your career, but time to take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk about that incredible run in 2015 with the Denver Broncos and how crazy that defense was that you guys put together. We'll get to that after this short break. Here at Half Forgotten History, our surprisingly great conversations are brought to you by State Farm. State Farm agents provide personalized service so you can customize your insurance to fit your needs, like our Hall of Fame guest choosing the perfect never-before-told story to share with our listeners. Look, you need a team that supports you and gets you, and State Farm's got a great one. In addition to agents, the award-winning mobile app helps manage coverage, pay bills, file claims, and more. With a great price and even greater service, State Farm goes from strength to strength. Choose insurance that always brings its A game. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You know, here in the East Coast and quite frankly across the country, McDonald's just isn't this large global restaurant. It's a local one too. Much in the same way these Hall of Fame athletes that you see me talking to are also people that live and work in the communities and towns where they are. McDonald's are owned and operated by people that live in those communities. And when you eat at a McDonald's, you're supporting a local business. You might even be supporting your neighbor's business. And McDonald's franchises also care about the communities that they're in. That's why they give back to the local Ronald McDonald chapter houses and why they help first responders, like when they gave hot, fresh meals to those out there fighting the devastation of Hurricane Laura. When you own a McDonald's, you are committed to serving the community where you do business. McDonald's, serving here. Now it's time for the surprisingly great story sponsored by State Farm. State Farm gets you surprisingly great rates. So when you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Back with you on Half Forgotten History. Aqib Talib is with us. Time for a surprisingly great story. So you have the success in Denver your first year, but you guys flame out in the playoffs. And then it's 2015. And Peyton is struggling that year. It's obvious to everybody. And the defense decides we got to step up. And that was the no-fly zone with you and Strap Harris, Bradley Roby, TJ Ward, Darian Stewart. You guys were monsters back there. When in that season did you realize, hey, if we're going to do what we need to do, the defense is going to have to play at a different level?
You know, going into the season, we already want to be the best. We felt like we had all the boxes checked, man. We had a player at every position who could potentially be an all-pro or a Pro Bowler, you know what I'm saying? And that's how we felt the whole offseason, OTAs, everything. So then on top of that, we had Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Peyton Manning. Shit, we finna win a chip. We thought we was going to win a chip because our defense is finally, and we had Wade. We had a new coordinator, man. He was kind of more of our speed, what we wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Me and Chris, we wanted to play man. Me and Roby, we wanted to play man and blitz and play man and then get off and look at the quarterback and sit on some shit and break. So that's what we had. That's what we had with Wade. So, man, we love the defense. We love our players. We love the personnel. Now we can match that up with what Peyton them got going on offense. We just, this finna be a 15-1. We finna win the Super Bowl. Early in the year, Peyton got injured. It was his plant foot. So he couldn't plant on that plant foot. He was throwing everything from all body, throwing footballs. Everything was short. Everything was light. So once we started that year, Peyton wasn't playing as good, but our defense was going crazy. We never doubted it. We like, man, all right, Brock a good backup if Peyton go down. Or if Peyton play like this, we still can win. Because that year, Peyton was still making all kind of throws. The fourth quarter was regular Peyton. 1, 2, and 3 was kind of banged up Peyton. But if you go to look at any of those games, the Chiefs, the Browns, any of those games, man, he making plays in the fourth quarter. The Ravens, he making plays in the fourth quarter to win us games, man. And that's what we looked at, man. We like, man, as long as Peyton can make these plays in the fourth and our defense play like this, we got a chance, man. So we felt it in the offseason.
And then you're riding with Brock, and then Peyton comes off the bench in week 17 because you needed that win to secure home field advantage, and you guys were down. Peyton comes in and gives you that lift, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I think we're going to be okay.
Right, man. I think if I'm not mistaken, Brock might have threw 5 picks in the first half of that game.
It wasn't good.
No less than 4. It was at least 4. It might be 5 interceptions that he threw in the first half of that game, man. So it was like, damn, we need to win this game. We need this home field, you know what I'm saying, period. Whether we got to go to Pittsburgh, we already went to Pittsburgh that year and lost, or we got to go to New England. I don't know what the seeding was, but we like, man, we need them to come here and play us. So that game was super important. We was playing pretty good on defense. Man, Peyton came in, and that was probably one of the best games live that I seen Peyton play, man. He just came in. He was hurt. He was healthy, but he still was kind of hurt, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he just came in, and he definitely looked like the sheriff that game, man. Brought us back. Huge game. Got us that first seed, man, and everything else was on the table.
So that sets up the AFC Championship game that year in Denver. And Aqib, I don't think I've ever seen a game in which Tom Brady took a bigger beating than in that contest. You guys wore him out. You took him to the ground a bunch of times, but you hit him time after time. Mm-hmm. And as you well know, you hit any quarterback long enough, they're going to make mistakes. You threw the interception where he overthrew Gronk. Von Miller picked it off, got close to a touchdown there that set you guys up. When did you guys know in that game we were just physically going to beat these guys up?
That was the plan. That was our plan all week, man. We either was blitzing a guy, running some type of stunt up front and playing man, or we was dropping everybody and packing the middle. So we made all of them look the same. Man, that was one of my favorite game plans as far as, man, we taking away what these guys want to do. That was brilliance by Coach Wade, man. We loved that. And then the interception by Vaughn was, it might as well been Wade Phillips on the field getting that interception, man. He drew it up. He drew it up exactly. He said, when you see this, he gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? When he do this, you drop outside, he throw you the football. Boom. It happened just like Wade said it was gonna happen, man. And that AFC Championship game, that probably was my funnest football game, funner than the Super Bowl, just because we handled them in the Super Bowl, man. We weren't even close, really. We didn't even, our confidence going into that game, we knew the offense played cool, man. We're gonna blow these dudes out. Because they just wasn't doing enough. But check this out, AFC Championship game, man. The vibe in the stadium, that was the first time of the whole season, AFC Championship game, that our stadium had a defense. It was nuts, Trey. I'm talking about, I was like, oh, shit. It's even video. I'm like, man, y'all feel that? It's like, feel that energy. It's like, man, that definitely was the hype. The most hype I've been for a game, man. Then was Tom Brady, huge game, man. He had his weapons. He had Gronk. He had Edelman. You know what I'm saying? It was big on big, and we came out with that win, man. It was definitely, by far, the funnest, most intense, most competitive football game I ever been a part of.
And then there's that chant they always say, incomplete, every time there's a pass that's incomplete.
We hear that all year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you get to the Super Bowl, and it's against the Carolina Panthers, almost ran the table 15-1. Cam's the MVP. They have the number one scoring offense, and I think the number one statistical offense in the NFL that year, and you guys clamped them down. What made you so confident with playing that offense that had been so great all year that you knew you were going to be able to control those guys?
They hung their hat on running the football, right? They was just overpowering everybody and making you play man and, just overpowering people, man. And we had the number 2 rush defense, number 1, 2, or 3. It was top 3. We had the number 2 rush defense in the league. So we weren't really worried about. We had, guys like Wolf and Malik and Danny Trevathan. Like, we weren't worried about nobody bullying us.
You had dogs.
We had real dogs. Like you say, so yeah, nobody gonna come bully us for sure. And that's what their offense was built on, just coming to bully people. So we was super confident, man. Their pass game was you know what I'm saying? It was okay. It was throw the ball downfield, run, take some shots downfield, some RPO slant routes and stuff, man. If you play man, you can handle them. So we thought our matchup against them was probably the best in the league, man. We got we bullies on defense. We got corners who could play man all day long. And we just loved our matchup against them, man. We never felt like they really ran like 12 to 15 plays total. Like, we could really sit here and memorize you guys' plays. And we did that on the game, man. Some plays you could see like, hey, toss left. DeMarcus would almost stand up and go all the way outside and just wait for the toss. They throw the toss. He make a tackle for loss. So, man, it was like they had some formations and stuff that you did nothing else out of. They run one play out of this formation, and they did it all year, and they killed everybody. But we had a veteran group who was gonna study and know those looks. And man, and like I said, we was bullies on defense ourselves, man. So we was super confident about that matchup.
So you win that Super Bowl, and then you follow Wade when he becomes the defensive coordinator for the Rams under Sean McVay. And you guys seem to have a really cool relationship, the two of you, because you had Sean McVay, who's like, 4 as the head coach. You had Wade Phillips, who's like 90 as the defensive coordinator. What is it about your relationship with Wade? Because you guys just seem to hit it off.
I just love his style, man. His style of coaching, man. He's not worried about all the extra stuff, man. He makes guys run to the ball. He teach you to play a way that I teach my kids to play, man. You hustle, play fast. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about making mistakes. The mistakes is the coaches. If you make a mistake, it's the coach's fault. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way he don't have Aqib Talib playing cover 4 or cover 3, or you know what I'm saying? He don't have Marcus Peters playing man all day. You know what I'm saying? We switched up our scheme. When we had Marcus Peters and me, he found the scheme that could let both of us do what we good at. You know what I'm saying? Sit back, look at the quarterback, and get interceptions. So when he had me and Chris and Roby, he used to let us get on the line and play man all day, man. So I think it's his style of coaching that I really love, and it's how he treats his players.
Well, obviously, just hearing you talk about how he dialed up that 2015 AFC Championship game, the level of respect is right there. So look, I know you don't want to talk about it, but I got to ask, what was it with you and Crab? What was it that, not once, I nicknamed you 2 Chains after that, man. You knocked that thing twice. Not once, but twice. What was it?
I don't know, man. It's just, it's a lot of noise talking in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's, a lot of situations come up. We from the same city. We both from Dallas, man. We know each other outside of the NFL. So, man, it's some locker room stuff, man. Some guys wanted it off his neck in the locker room. So, man, it's just some stuff that happened, man. We in the entertainment business, Trey, right?
Yes, and it was very entertaining. Yes. It was entertaining.
It's just entertaining the crowd, man.
Wait, so let me get this straight. There were guys in the locker room that said, man, you need to take that chain.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't tell too much. I don't put guys out there like that, Trey. But yeah. It was some guys who that chain had to come off, and Leave was there, so Leave had to do it.
Listen, somebody had to step up, and you stepped up.
That was funny. I never meet somebody, or I ain't saying I just met you, but I never met somebody and not been asked about that. I get asked about that more than a Super Bowl, Trey.
Well, listen, we have a Super Bowl every year. We don't have a guy knocking somebody's chain twice. So, I mean, it's more rare than the Super Bowl. So if you could go back and give your 2008 Aqib Talib as a kid right out of Kansas, getting drafted, knowing all that you know now and all the things you've done in your career, what would you say to yourself?
I'd say 2008 Lead had less friends, bro. Focus on yourself more. Don't worry about taking care of your family and your friends, because in 2020, you're gonna know this. You ain't gonna care about taking care of your family and your friends as much. So don't worry about your family and your friends. By you doing your thing, you taking care of your family and your friends. Don't focus on that as much.
That's a hard lesson, right?
Definitely a hard lesson, man. It's real, man. You put yourself in different situations just because, you're trying to take care of those guys.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, as I said, I always loved you as a player because I knew that when Aqib was on the field, you were going to get something out of him. If you were banged up or whatever you had in the tank, you were going to leave it on the field. And that is why I always respected you as a player. And we've talked a bunch since you stopped playing. I've enjoyed every one of our conversations. I know you got a couple of podcasts you're doing. Tell me about those.
Definitely. We got a deal we doing, man. We're gonna roll it out with Colin Coward. It's called Catching Fades. That should be coming here soon. And then Call to the Booth is my podcast I'm doing right now. Me and Harrison Sanford, man. We got Call to the Booth going. You can check that out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, man, YouTube. You want to see the videos and all that, man. So Call to the Booth, Catching Fades, man. Check us out.
And you're starting a new, training camp or something? Camp to help people with DBs? Is that what you're doing too?
Well, no. Well, I'm going to start. I do a little stuff a little bit now. I think since now I got more time, a lot more people is asking. Definitely, man. I'm going to help teach these DBs I'm a real plan on how to play man coverage, man. You'll be surprised how many guys in the NFL right now, Trey, they don't have no plan when they get to the line, man. So, pull up to Dallas, man. I got the gym. A+D1 is my gym out here. I mean, we got great trainers here, man, great strength and conditioning trainers, man. We run a great program here. And myself, I'm going to be helping a lot more, man, with the DBs. So, man, look forward to that.
Well, listen, I watch every game, and I can see a lot of corners that need help playing man. There's no question about that.
Call Lee, baby.
Yeah, they could learn from someone like you. Hey, always good chopping up with you, brother. Thanks for coming on the show, and I wish you all the best going forward. I look forward to hearing you on more games, okay?
Appreciate it, Trey. Y'all take care.
That'll do it for this edition of Half Forgotten History. Our thanks to Aqib Talib for joining us, and he was Aqib Talib in every way. That's why we wanted him on the show. So to show our appreciation for him joining us, we're sending a check in his name to Ronald McDonald House, thanking him for his time. And thanks to Maker's Mark. Remember, pour yourself into everything you do and reach for a bourbon with that personal touch. In fact, why don't we raise a glass to Aqib Talib and everybody else right now for those incredible athletes telling us these remarkable stories. And remember, Maker's Mark crafts their bourbon carefully. All they ask is that you enjoy it the same way. Coming up next week, arguably the greatest beard in terms of facial hair in the history of the NFL, longtime center Jeff Saturday.